Hello and welcome to another edition of the CCJ Conversation series. My name is Alex. I'm chair of the Council of Christians and Jews. I'll introduce our guests in a moment, but let's begin by acknowledging that we're in Melbourne on the land of the Kulin Nations, and today we're talking about Christmas and Chanukah. So to begin, we've got Thilo Troschke and Faye Haskin-Dubrowin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you, Thilo, if I can. Tell me a little bit about yourself, about your background, briefly, but also your connection to Christmas and what Christmas means to you.
Yes, well, I've got a German background. I was born in Germany, grew up in Germany. I was, in fact, 34 when I came to Australia. I don't know, this is about Christmas and celebrating Christmas. And Christmas in Germany is quite a bit different, of course, to Australia. So I grew up celebrating Christmas on the 24th of December, being literally in German Heiligabend, so Holy Evening. We say Christmas Eve, but this is when it really happens. You know, people go to church and all the rest of it. And then you've got the 25th is the first day of Christmas, and the 26th is the second day of Christmas. You know, that does exist, but the main game, is on the 24th. Anyway, back to Christmas in Germany. So typically we would go to a church service at 5 o'clock, and it would be cold, and there would be, with a bit of luck, there would be snow and so forth. And then we come home and have a meal afterwards. But before the meal, the Christmas, the presents under the tree would be revealed, except the room where the tree was, and the presents was shut off from the rest of the house, so that kids during the day or even the day before or so couldn't find out what their presents were. So it was only revealed after we've been to church.
Lovely, thank you.
No sneaky looks.
So no, that's right. So that is how I grew up. But then again, I've been in Australia now for 40 years, and I know that obviously Christmas celebrations are very different because they're in summer and they're not, well, we think so. When I look out the window, summer not exactly at the moment, but there should be in summer and not in winter. And the 25th is the main day when it is celebrated. And what we celebrate, of course, speaking as a Christian, as a Lutheran, but that's not so important in this instance, but it is one of the two, most important Christian holy days, if you want to call it that, is of course Christmas, the birth of Jesus, and then Easter, the death and resurrection. And that's really what the New Testament is all about. It's the birth of Christ's life and then death and resurrection. So that's what it is about. So it is a most important event.
Lovely, thank you very much for that. And Faye, over to you. Obviously, you're Jewish and you grew up in Australia, so what's your connection to Christmas, and maybe a little bit about your background as well?
Okay, so I was born here in Perth, and I guess my father was a pastry cook, so we had a bit of a mixture in our family at Christmas time, Chanukah time, because being in Australia, my father in his cake shop in Ackland Street. I remember having decorations he decorated the windows for Christmas, did the houses, gingerbread houses, things like that. And then on the other hand, there was a touch of Chanukah too. So we had it was good. I was always envious of the Christian kids because of the gifts that they got, even though we had fun times with Chanukah as well.
And there's enough Jewish festivals to get gifts as well.
Yeah, there was lots of other, that's right. But I do remember though, one night my father because it was Christmas and Chanukah must have been beforehand or didn't fall at the same time, and I remember one night in Ackland Street, my dad rushing to the toy shop to get something for my twin sister and I, so we wouldn't feel left out of, And then for my own children, I guess, we had the Chanukah, some celebrations with that, but also there was the mixture of a bit of Christmas. We did that with friends as well. We would do Christmas lunches and things for Hanukkah as well. But as my kids grew up and married and started with their own families, etc., and I have very much a mixture in my families, whereas I've had two sons married non-Jewish ladies, so and one was Danish. Celebrated, and we had Christmas, always had the amazing Christmas dinners. 24th, the evening, the same time you celebrated, because she was the European sort of time, and loved that sort of, I always remember the rice pudding with cherries in it, the rice cream.
I wouldn't have had that.
Yeah, well, she did, the Danish did, that was amazing with his hot cherries. But yeah, so I was always finding a balance, and it was always, sometimes there was a little bit of a difficulty in the beginning to sort of adjust or accept some grandkids running around a Christmas tree, for example, and then at the same time Hanukkah, wanting to celebrate Hanukkah and then give them a Hanukkah gift when the other part of the family was giving them a Christmas gift. So it was a little bit at times a bit sensitive, and I do remember one of my granddaughters. She was only like 10 or 11 and came into the kitchen and grabbed me by the hands and said, come and dance around the Christmas tree. Well, I had to do that. I couldn't not do that.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Christmas and Hanukkah. So Hanukkah very much is known as the Jewish Festival of Lights. But I noticed that Christmas, maybe it's not called that as well, but there's lights are very much a part of it. Yeah. So does your family, given what you said about your family, do you celebrate Christmas? Is there some connection between the Festival of Lights? Do you see a connection between the two festivals in a sense?
Well, yes. I think because it is very colourful, and the coloured lights for the the Christmas tree, and then with the Hanukkah candles. So I often did try to blend it a little bit to be balanced with the kids,
So Jewish tradition will say that Hanukkah is actually not a particularly important festival. It's actually not even a Torah festival, which makes it less important. Yet it's become very popular, a fun festival, and it's become very popular. Even in Australia, 60% or so, according to the census, are Christians. Yet it seems like so many people celebrate Christmas. Do you have any indication of why that might be? Is there something about Christmas that makes it popular, or is it just that it happens to be at the end of the year?
Well, if you're not a Christian and you celebrate Christmas,
even Christians who aren't particularly religious celebrate Christmas to some extent.
Yes. Well, there's a mixture between tradition and then the inevitability to escape it from a commercial point of view. I mean, how can you not? When the first Father Christmases and Santas and whatever in the shops in November, and things like that. So I mean, it's such a commercial thing in the Western world in general. I mean, not just here in Australia. And businesses depend
very much
on Christmas business, for their bottom line. They know that some businesses may have 50% of the whole year, in December, that sort of thing. So I mean, that's.
And how do you feel about that as a Christian?
How do I feel about? I feel. I guess I would have to say I accept the fact that is a reality. That is a business and commercial reality. There's nothing harmful as such in that. But as a Christian, I would say it is a pity that the real reason for Christmas, of course, gets overlooked.
Is a little bit lost.
The real reason naturally for Christians is the birth of Jesus, the birth of the Saviour, and that is obviously a central event, for us. So, and that gets forgotten, and these days it also has to be said. Think of some councils, who say, we have to be totally neutral, and we will not even allow Christmas celebrations, and people are shy to wish each other a Merry Christmas, and they say, best
Happy
wishes
holidays.
for the festive season, whatever that may be. You know, now I think for me personally that goes too far. That's too trying to be, you know.
At the same time, there are numerous, I think, 7 maybe religions in the world that have festivals between November and the end of December. So maybe that's part of the reason. So based on that point, how do you feel when people wish you a happy Christmas? Are you okay with that as a Jew?
Well, yes. I mean, I accept that. I have friends that are non-Jewish, and we actually catch up because it is the end of the year and it's that time of the year. They're all
and your
Jewish.
daughters-in-law.
And my daughter-in-law. And my family. I do it. Of course, I have to accept. I do accept it now. I'm sort of quite well adjusted to it now, but or accepted it. But yeah, and I mean, I even buy a little gift for them. You know, so. But I try to look at something that says seasonal greetings rather than specific Christmas greetings.
Right.
I'm a bit conscious of that. But I still enjoy it with them and enjoy Hanukkah and try and just bring in the balance. And in fact, we've got a family thing coming up on the 19th, just at Hanukkah, and I know that some parts of the family will probably bring some Christmas things into it. So,
so just to finish off, what would you like to say about wishes for the festive season or for Christmas, for Hanukkah? Just to finish off, just some thoughts about blending the two, or your thoughts about finishing off for the year and for the festive season.
Well, as a Christian, and just again focus on Christmas, on the birth of Jesus, I would say the overriding 2 elements here would be peace and love. They're the two, you know. I mean, and peace is ever so elusive at the moment. We all know what happens politically around the world and so forth. So, and so I think the thought of peace and to treat each other with respect and love. These would be my central points.
Beautiful sentiments.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. But I also think that the last few years have been very tough for many people, including some members of my own family, and so, you know, it is a matter of just being there for them, accepting them as what makes them happy, so long as they're healthy and that they enjoy their Christmas or their Hanukkah. On
a personal level, I certainly would very much agree with that, naturally.
So beautiful sentiments from both of you. Thank you very much for your participation. And on behalf of the Council of Christians and Jews, we wish you a happy Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, and a happy festive season for any other festival. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.